Katie Thurston spills some mild tea in an Instagram Q&A, which leads into a huge debate whether or not Hannah Ann was on a golf cart in Palm Springs. Welcome back to our channel, everyone. We have some interesting things in Bachelor Nation to talk about today, but before we dive in, make sure you are subscribed to our channel so you are always up to date on all things Bachelor Nation. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, joined with the lovely Gianna Gravelese and the fabulous Blakely McHugh. Now, I gotta ask you guys, have you been keeping up this week, especially yesterday, with all of this golf cart gate drama?
I mean, of course, I couldn't escape it even if I wanted to. It was everywhere. It was all over TikTok, Instagram, all the Bachelor Nation accounts. I mean, your own TikTok, Zachary Reality, like it was just everywhere. And it's just so funny because I'm just like, what is happening? Like Gabby and Rachel season is days away. Why is this old drama being brought up now? Shouldn't we be mentally preparing still?
Yeah. Fortunately, I had you, Zach, and I had Morgan's Instagrams and TikToks to keep me informed and in the loop because honestly, I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. I was like, what's going on? I don't understand because it's just so dumb. But yes, I'm caught up.
It is a little silly, but it's also like hilarious because like this whole debate is like, was she on the golf cart? Was it a producer? Was she photoshopped? We're going to talk about it a little bit, but I do want to start off where all of drama starts in Bachelor Nation, with Katie Thurston and her Q&A on Instagram because she is spilling some tea from some of the guys from her season. Now, Katie did say this was mild tea, but I don't know. This is kind of juicy. So she shares that Michael A. kissed a close friend of hers while her season was airing. Even though she was still engaged, she felt it was too soon. What she said about Andrew S. is that she had too much respect for his mom to bring him to hometowns, and she had stronger feelings for other guys. With Blake, she did not know she was going to pick him before the big Greg blowout. She said that Thomas deserved a better edit. He got the short end of the stick. And she says, Greg Grippo, she's close friends with his ex. So there's two sides to this. There's a lot of people living for this drama, and there's a lot of people thinking Katie is just being unnecessary and starting drama for no reason. So Gianna, Blakely, where do you guys stand on this? Is Katie being too messy, or is she giving the fans what they want?
I mean, obviously, all of us in Bachelor Nation are super nosy. We are always longing for the hottest tea ever. But Katie, it's like you just went through a breakup, okay? So you were already in the headlines, and you did your 12 days of messy to even like announce your relationship in the first place. It's just like, why are you doing this again? It does seem very unnecessary to me. And again, we all love tea. We all love hearing about it. But now, like, don't bring Michael A. into your little tea spillage because protect him at all costs. Like, now she's putting all of these other guys in jeopardy. People are going to start commenting on their socials being like, what do you think about what Katie said? And she's just dragging so many people into the mud for no reason. So I guess my answer is I think it's totally unnecessary. I think it's a little attention seeking of her. But I mean, Blakely, am I wrong? What do you think?
No, I'm totally on board with the attention-seeking title. That's 100% what I think it is. And as much as I'm like, okay, Katie is a little bit annoying, and also if I were any of these men or if I were part of Bachelor Nation, I'd be like, here she goes again, rolling her eyes. I'm also a little bit like, as a fan and an outsider, I'm living for it a little bit. It just, it gives you to talk about. It's kind of funny. But I just think she's a little bit messy, as we've described, and as she's described herself, and thirsty. It feels like thirsty. Like we already did
thirsty
December.
Thurston.
Exactly. Like, I mean, these aren't new words to be used to describe her, but it's a little much, but I'm also living for it.
I mean, Katie is messy. She'll own that herself. I mean, it was 12 days of messy, 13, 14. I think we're on day 15 or day 16 of Katie's 12 days of messy, and I'm sure it's not going to stop. Who knows? I will tell you guys this about Katie is that she is a huge Bachelor fan. She was before the show. She is now. So I think that she really enjoys the interaction and the engagement with fans. And I think that she thinks that like she would have loved to know all of this tea a few years ago before she was on the show about her favorite Bachelor Nation stars. So I think she really just wants to give the fans what they want and what they're wondering, because none of this stuff matters anymore. Everyone's moved on. Everyone's broken up. So I think she's just trying to connect with the fans to play devil's advocate. And I also think that, I don't know, she kind of keeps us all employed in a way because she's always giving us something to talk about. So I do want to give her credit for that, but I also think that it's kind of unfair to keep bringing these guys through the mud. She did it with 12 Days of Messy. Now she's doing it again. Like, what did Greg do? Like, it's been so long. Like, Greg has stayed chill. He's stayed out of it. Like, Michael A., as Gianna mentioned, like, he's trying to stay out of it. He went to Paradise. We don't know what happened with that. Like, it's almost just like these guys are just trying to like live their life and be cute. And, you know, Katie is bringing them back into the mess. Andrew S. did tweet. He said something along the lines of the fact that some people need to reevaluate, you know, what the word tea means. Do you think any of these guys will ever shade Katie, Gianna, or do you think they just want to take the high road?
Well, if you go back to 12 Days of Messy, you have to remember, you know, Andrew S. and Greg and I believe Justin were talking about and reacting to her 12 Days of Messy in a TikTok or Instagram video.
Instagram
and
Live.
Andrew was like cracking up about the whole situation and making comments about it. And Greg literally like ignored it. So I think they're all different. You know, there's a whole thing too, because Greg posted a selfie yesterday on his story with absolutely no context of him making like a dirty look, like what is happening? And people were like, wait, is this in response to Katie or is he just being funny? Like, what is this? So I think that they'll definitely react as they should, but I don't think they'll really go out and shade her, if that makes sense, because then they're going to just go on her level. And I think that with these guys, especially from her season, I think they're all about taking the high road and kind of being the bigger person in these types of situations.
Yeah, I mean, they're really not saying much. Andrew is the one who likes to dance the line a little bit. We love that. But it was funny because John also got in on the action. He posted some type of meme. I don't know if you guys know what this term is. We used to use them in social studies, political cartoons. So I think it was a political cartoon of Michael, and then he tagged like Michael A., Andrew, and Greg, and then he was like waiting for Katie to spill tea on him because she was spilling, you know, tea on all the guys from her season. And it was kind of funny. Katie reposted it, but when she reposted it, she actually confirmed that John dumped her, which we already kind of thought, but now it's confirmed. Blakely, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so before I get into like the John part of it, I really feel almost kind of bad for these guys because I feel like when you're on the show, I hate when the leads always like use the term, oh, I had 15 boyfriends or whatever, because you really aren't boyfriend and girlfriend. Maybe you sort of are when you get down to the 2 or the 3, maybe the 4, but that feels like a little bit of a stretch. But I just don't think that you're in a relationship like that when you are outside of the show. So I have to imagine that like Greg and Andrew and all these guys who are getting pulled in are like, this is just my like a crazy ex-girlfriend who won't let me go. Like we didn't even have that deep of a relationship. As far as John getting into the mix, I feel like he knew like who he was getting into when he was dating Katie. He knew who she was. You know, in the show, you're getting to know each other. So he fully accepts her for what she brings to the table and how messy she is, if you will. So I feel like it's kind of funny that he jumped in with that political cartoon and is embracing who she is. I'm glad that she, you know, acknowledged and was able to like, you know, almost, I don't know that she's making fun of herself, but she's like, you know, John dumped me, whatever. So at least nobody's unscathed, and she's also bringing herself into this. But I gotta say, this girl has got to stop holding grudges. Like, first off, Zach, we were talking about this yesterday off show. First off, her reaction to Greg on the after the final rose when she is engaged to Blake, she's supposed to be happy, she's supposed to be in love, all of these things, how angry, all the anger she was holding on to towards Greg was just unfathomable. I did not understand her reaction to him. Like, move on. It shouldn't have that big of an impact on you. You're engaged, you're with Blake. Clearly they weren't happy because it didn't last for like, what, 2 months maybe? But still, that reaction, crazy. And then to say that she's upset that her friend kissed Michael A. It was too soon, even though you were engaged. No, you're engaged. You love someone else. You're with somebody else. It should not matter. This girl, I don't understand where her mind is at.
I mean, Katie is just dying to tell all. I remember she commented on someone's post that like she is still in contract with The Bachelor. She can't even do, many podcasts yet until like August without approval. I know she wants to write a memoir one day. That's going to be super juicy. I'll read it for all of you guys if you don't want to read it. But I mean, Katie just keeps us on her toes, and she's really keeping us on her toes again. And now Clare is getting in the action, inferring that it was not Hannah Ann on the golf cart. So during Katie's Q&A, she said that she laughs at people thinking they know who this is while referring to Hannah Ann on the golf cart. Now, Hannah Ann was brought to Palm Springs as they were testing out who would be the next Bachelorette between Hannah Ann and Tayshia. And Katie was trying to say that these pictures of Hannah Ann on the golf cart were not Hannah Ann, which Bachelor Nation was able to put together, and, especially Bachelor Nation Scoop on Instagram. And they basically said that it could be Nikki, a producer who looks just like Hannah Ann. Hannah Ann replied to Morgan's TikTok from one of our hosts here and basically said, how could you prove that that's not me? And then Clare and Katie like doubled down and were like, we were there. Where Clare was like, I was 10 feet away. I know who that was. And now everyone's thinking that it was a photoshopped Hannah Ann to throw people off so that no one would know that Tayshia was going to take over as Clare. And that's why they leaked those pictures to Us Weekly or the tabloids that it was Hannah Ann. Seems a little confusing, but now there's all these conspiracy theories. I need to know what you guys think. Was that Hannah Ann on the golf cart?
Well, to echo what Blakely said in the beginning of this, I think this whole situation is so dumb. Like, I frankly don't care. Like, I am so laser focused on Gabby and Rachel's season right now. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, I'm genuinely not trying to backtrack and talk about old drama anymore. So, like, thanks, Katie. Like, now I have a headache. But, I mean, I firmly thought it was the producer. I thought it was the producer, Nikki, like firmly. I was fully convinced. I was like, okay, whatever. And then once Hannah Ann commented on Morgan's TikTok, I started downward spiraling. And I'm like, if it was Nikki, if she was a producer, she would have had a surveillance in her ear. She would have had a walkie attached to her hip, a fanny pack with something, lanyards around her, like showing that it's her type of thing. Yeah, so I just got confused. Like, I'm still confused. I don't know what to think. This whole thing is nuts. So now I'm starting to believe the conspiracy theories that it's like photoshopped to throw people off, or it was. I don't know. It's so weird, and I don't know. And guess what? I don't really care, to be honest.
All right.
The devil works hard, but the Bachelor producers work harder. I mean, I think it's Hannah Ann. It looks just like her if you zoom in. It's like the same body type, same, everything. So I think it's Hannah Ann, but again, I don't care. What is this from? 2 years ago at this point? Like, and everybody's just trying to stay relevant. Who cares? We have Gabby and Rachel.
Period.
Okay. I mean, so I think that is Hannah Ann. There was some close-up shots that really confirmed her face. But the only thing that's throwing me off is that I don't know why Katie would post this if it wasn't Hannah Ann. Like, I feel like
Katie likes people to talk.
I know she likes people to talk, but I wouldn't consider her a flat-out liar. Like, if she is trying to throw us off, that would make her a liar, and I don't think she would do that. And then somebody else from Bachelor Nation, who is very, like, in the know and stuff, voted on my poll and said it was a producer. So it's just really, really confusing. But we also did get a reply, actually, from Jake, who is Hannah Ann's boyfriend. So he commented on my TikTok, and he said, she's happy and moved on. She also has an agreement with ABC to prove it. It's all a big reach for something that truly doesn't matter. So him saying that there is an agreement with ABC leads me to believe that she signed some sort of contract, which it probably could be a Bachelorette contract, but then they ended up choosing Tayshia. So Hannah Ann can probably never speak on this. So we truly will never know. But also, the last point I'll make is that why would a producer be escorted in a golf cart? Like, of course, that's Hannah Ann.
Can I say something? Well, I worked on sets before for movies and TV shows, and sometimes producers are escorted on golf carts because they don't want to walk far. So it's not like out of the possibilities.
But also, like, it could have been staged. Like, maybe the producer isn't being escorted. Maybe the producer sat in that golf cart for it to look like Hannah Ann to generate. I mean, like you said, Zach, that's a theory that's going around. So, and we're stretching here, and I already don't believe it's that. But like you said, a producer would have the earpiece and the lanyards and the fanny, X, Y, and Z. So if it is a producer, if it is, then it fully had to have been staged. Because they would have had all these extra things. You know?
Yeah. I think that somebody else made a good point online. They were like, Hannah Ann is the only person that can tell you if that's Hannah Ann. Like, you have to trust Hannah Ann. And Hannah Ann said on Morgan's video that it was her. How are you going to prove that's not me? Those were her words.
Also, like, the boyfriend commenting on the TikTok, like, this doesn't matter, we have an agreement. Like, is this that big of a deal where we need to show the receipts? Like, it's not like Hannah Ann did something wrong where we need the receipts to back her up.
Yeah, no, of course. Hannah Ann did nothing wrong. Like, justice for Hannah Ann. She did not deserve any of this at all. Like, she deserves all of the love. I think she's great. And I think her boyfriend just wants to defend her. But I also think her boyfriend needs to understand that this might not be a big deal to him, but it is a big deal to Bachelor Nation. Kind of like how when he won the Super Bowl, a lot of us in Bachelor Nation only cared because he was Hannah Ann's boyfriend. So I think he needs to understand, like, that some of us care a lot about Bachelor Nation, and some of us care a lot about sports. Some of us care about both. I'm just saying. I mean, does anyone have any final thoughts on this? Because I still don't know if it's Hannah Ann or not.
My thought is, at this point, we already know that Hannah Ann did not get chosen. So whether or not she was being considered, we already know she didn't get chosen. Tayshia got chosen, and I think widely people loved Tayshia's season. I am someone who loved Tayshia's season, so why all of a sudden does it matter if Hannah Ann was being considered? Because did we already know that she was being considered, or is this photo just like, oh, she was considered, we didn't get her, now we're upset? Like, I don't understand the importance behind the photo.
No, we knew at the time that she was being considered to be the Bachelorette.
Okay.
You have to ask Katie. You have to ask Katie Thurston. She is the only person that could answer the question because she was the one that posted this. If she never posted this, no one ever would have, thought about this.
Someone call her.
Well, you have the connect, Zach.
Yeah.
I mean, I can DM her and ask her, but I mean, if she tells me, she knows I'm going to tell everyone. So I don't think she's just going to tell me just because. So once again, thank you, Katie, for keeping us entertained and employed. But it is time to move on to Gabby and Rachel. So I'll spare you guys the rest of this conversation. We can talk about it all day long. So Gabby and Rachel's season is 5 days away. Gianna, you had a nice break. Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready. I'm beyond ready. I'm so excited. I've said this like 9,000 times. I've never been more excited for a season ever. This is the most excited I've ever been. I love Gabby and Rachel. Like, they deserve justice for how Clayton treated them on the last season. And it's the first time ever that we're having 2 bachelorettes that are actually lasting throughout the entire season. So it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be a really fun season, and they've been on their press tour, and in an interview with Kelly and Ryan, it was actually interesting because Kelly was asking if the girls could understand where Clayton was coming from when he was falling in love with multiple women now that Rachel and Gabby are in the driver's seat. So Rachel actually replied and said she understands how you can develop feelings for multiple people, but she still doesn't understand how he fell in love with multiple people, where Gabby said everyone's journey is different, and the duo also shared in another interview that they wouldn't fall for a guy who put them in that position again. So this is kind of a big tease, in my opinion, because this is basically confirming that they're going to be falling in love with different guys. Blakely, what did you make of this?
I think it was kind of funny because I almost felt like it was a little bit of a call out for Clayton, saying like, just because I'm in this driver's seat doesn't mean that I now understand his position and basically like he's still effed up. Like he still did the wrong thing. It's still not normal, although you can have feelings that arise for other people. It doesn't mean that you're in love with three people and you're deciding who you love most and, all of that. So, and I really love that Gabby said this because this whole time I felt like Gabby has really been good at holding Clayton accountable. With Rachel, when it came to the breakup and when it came to the stairs scene and when it came to the after the final rose, she was just very much emotional over the whole thing. Yeah. And with Gabby, I felt like she was like, what you did was wrong. It was not okay. I felt like she was very more logical where Rachel was more emotional in all of it. So I love that, Gabby is just sticking to her gun. She's like, it still logically does not make sense. And what he did was not okay. And so I love that she's just still running with that point.
Blakely, I love how often you bring up the stairs thing because it was probably the most iconic scene of the season. And I hope that we get a reenactment of that. Like, I'm about to start crying on some stairs with a blonde wig on. Like, this is just, It's so funny because it truly was a traumatizing time for everyone. Gianna, how do you think they're going to approach these relationships differently? I mean, they clearly have learned their lesson from what Clayton put them through.
Yeah, so again, I mean, looking at Clayton's season, like Blakely just said, how they both reacted to that moment where he told them, I'm in love with all of you and I slept with all of you and this, that, the other. Gabby was emotional, but she was very stern and in control and confrontational, whereas Rachel cried on the stairs hysterically. So I really think that, and I also have to say, like, throwback to the moment where Clayton was talking to Gabby and he said, can I walk you out? And she literally goes, no. Like, she was so disgusted, whereas Rachel let him walk her out and she cried and cried and cried again in the streets. So I think, Gabby's going to approach these men. She's going to put them in their place whenever they need to be put in their place. I don't think she's going to be afraid to confront them when it comes to certain situations or hearing that they did certain things or this, that, the other. Like, Gabby is not going to deal with any BS. And I hope, because, we keep hearing from Jesse Palmer too, that they're supporting each other and leaning on each other. I hope that Rachel, she can be as emotional as she wants, and I think she's going to, but I hope she kind of adopts the way that Gabby goes about relationships, because that's what I admire the most about Gabby. And I think that's what's going to get them far and stay away from as much BS as possible. So yeah, I think Gabby's going to be sort of the leader. And I think Rachel's going to, I think she's going to fall hard and she's going to have all the emotions. But yeah, so I think it's interesting how they both react to things, but I think they're going to adopt each other's styles going through this together.
Yeah, they're very different women and they balance each other off great and the friendship is great. And we have a new trailer to dissect. We have a couple of clips that we're going to go through because they're on the cruise ship, they're falling in love. And I mean, we just get like a new trailer every single day. There is so many clips like floating around and new pictures that are really getting us excited for the season, which is like 4 or 5 days away now. Maybe like 3 days away. Isn't it Friday, Saturday? We are so close to seeing these two. Let's take a look at our first clip.
I like what I see.
He's a 9.5 on a scale of 1 to hot.
Oh. A 9.5 on a scale of 1 to hot. Blakely, what does that mean? Is hot 10 or is hot like 20?
A hot's 10. So whoever she's talking about is piping hot. And I'm obsessed with this Lotto's big energy, the music, the vibe with it. I'm living for this trailer.
Is there too many abs, Blakely, or is that just enough?
Never too many abs. Unless we're talking about F-Boy Island, but here I'm okay with it.
Oh my God, I'm dying. Okay, let's keep watching. Let's take a look at the next clip.
I could be a fantasy. I could tell you got big energy.
These guys have blown me out of the water.
Big C energy. Gianna, is it too punny or is it cute? Blow me out of the water.
I mean, it's definitely a little punny. It's a little cringe, but it works because it's Gabby and Rachel. Had it been a guy saying that, I would have gotten the ick right away. But I think that this is adorable for them. And I'm just finally excited to see this cruise ship because we've been talking about it for so long. And it's a ship. Like, I was thinking a little like baby boat, but that is a whole cruise ship. That is insane. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see how that's all going to go down.
But Gianna, have you been on a cruise recently?
Not recently, but I've been one time, and it was the best vacation I've ever been on in my entire life. And it had a zip line. It was the Royal Caribbean. Had a
Ooh.
great pizza place. It was fun, and there was a lot of things to do, a lot of drama going down on the boat, not only with families but people I met on the boat. So I can imagine it's going to go the same way on this season.
I haven't been on a cruise ship since I was 8, but I know like some of my friends who did it when they were like teenagers or studied abroad, like they always talked about like the connections they formed on the cruise ship because you're truly like in the middle of the ocean, and it almost like forces people to like bond in a different way. So I mean, I think it's a great idea that they're doing it on the ship. I'm kind of excited to see it. Blakely, what are your thoughts on the ship? Would you go on it?
Well, now that I see the ship, I have some questions that I haven't thought about before. Like, what are the dates gonna look like? Because it seems very limited. What are they gonna be doing? Like, their dates going down the slide? They're playing in the pool? They're doing one zip line? I feel like maybe you're limited in actually like fun, cool. I just don't want to be on The Bachelor playing mini golf for a date when other people are getting helicopter rides and everything else. So
maybe they'll dock.
Now I'm feeling like the ship might be
Bahamas.
limited. They could do that.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna dock.
Yeah, but how long are they going to be at seas?
They're definitely gonna dock.
I don't think that they're going to not be docking ever.
You know what? You know what, Blakely and Gianna? We are going to answer your question right now in this next clip.
Okay.
You're going to be sailing along the northern coast of Europe as you continue to find love with Gabby or Rachel.
If the ship's rocking, don't come down.
So they're going to be up the coast of Europe. So they're going to be stopping in a lot of different locations. I believe they're definitely stopping in Paris. That's already been confirmed. There's already been pictures. And I think they might stop in Amsterdam too, which is really giving me the travel bug. Now I want to leave the country. But I think there's going to be a lot going on the ship too. Do you have like a dream location? Blakely, maybe you can start first where you want them to stop.
I don't even know. I need to look at maps. I don't even know like what's around the coast of
You just said
Europe.
you loved Amsterdam. Amsterdam.
You're right. I loved
Paris.
Amsterdam. Paris, I didn't have so much fun in Paris. Amsterdam, I think they would have a lot of fun, especially if they go to the red light district. Actually, you know what? They can't do that because they can't film there. But Amsterdam is a great place. People stay out partying for a long time. There's lots of fun things to do there. They could do... Good date idea, even though it's already over. They have the world's largest swing off the side of a building that I actually did in Amsterdam. That would be a fun date, really test each other's limits.
Gianna?
Is it my turn?
Portugal, Spain, Ireland, Croatia. Like, where is this?
Sorry, I didn't know if you wanted me to answer the same question.
I mean, what are you making of this?
I see a lot of green and I see some cliff jumping. Now, I'm no geography expert, so I can't pinpoint exactly where that is, but it looks really cool. I want to see them go to Greece. Is that along the northern coast of Europe? I don't know, but that would be cool. That would be romantic. Have some feta and fall in love. But I'm jealous. Like, I'm literally jealous. I know that they usually go to a different country pretty much every single season, but the fact that they're on the boat, it brings up another question. Like, are they going to stop in 2 countries, 3, 5? Like, is it going to be a different country for a different date with a different guy? How big was the budget if that's the case? Wow. Yeah, I'm just very curious all around, but it is another interesting point. Traveling will make or break your relationship, not only with your significant other, but with your friends. Yeah, it's fun to make connections when you're on the cruise ship, but to then go to a different country together, like it's hard for those time differences, and navigating the country, the cultural differences together. So this gonna be a tester for sure.
Can I change my tune about the cruise ship?
Traveled. Yeah, go for it.
For some reason, when I was thinking about the cruise ship, it's clearly been a while since I've been on one. I was just thinking they were going to just be on the water the whole time. I forget that you make multiple stops on a cruise ship, that you actually go to locations. So I think it'll be good.
So you take it back.
I think there'll be lots of date ideas. I do. I think there'll be lots of date ideas.
So do you want to publicly apologize to me, Gianna, Gabby, Rachel, and all 32 men?
No, I don't.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, well, great. Well, the thing is, everyone's forgetting how big the budget is. Gianna, you brought up the budget. Like, they used to travel to Bali, Vietnam, China, they have traveled all over the world. Venezuela, Uruguay, Paraguay. Like, they are going to be going some fabulous places, and that's one of the reasons why I love the show. So I cannot wait to see them traveling. We have one last clip here, and then I will need your final thoughts.
This is my nightmare.
Someone make it hurt.
I don't want to do this anymore. It sucks that it has to be so much hurt and pain.
See, I think I saw an Amsterdam shot right there when they were hugging. That definitely looks like the Amsterdam canals. There's going to be lots and lots of tears. Super, super sad. But do you guys think it will ultimately result in a happy ending?
I sure hope so. I mean, for some reason, I have a really good feeling about this season for the both of them. I feel like they'll both find love. Like, that's just what I think. But it's so funny because we usually break down these little trailers word for word, outfit by outfit. We, look at the locations like you just said. But now it's a little more confusing because perfect example, what the shot's on right now, when we hear Rachel or Gabby, we literally don't know who said it, say, I don't want to do this anymore through tears. I think it was Rachel. But I'm not sure. But it could have been Gabby saying that, and then they show Rachel getting up. Now it's going to be a little harder to pinpoint these trailers week by week, because if you guys follow us closely, here on Shared News, anytime a new trailer comes out for the following week after the episode, we always break it down. We usually pick up on things, we speculate, but this is going to be a new challenge for us between the two girls and their voices.
Although I do feel like there's the picture you were talking about, which definitely looks like Amsterdam, Zach. So I think you hit the nail on the head with that one, whatever the phrase is. But I do think that Rachel and Gabby have I don't believe that that's it. You hit the nail in the coffin? You hit the nail on the head.
On the coffin.
Hit the nail on the head.
No, you put a nail in the coffin.
Blakely, stick to the script.
Okay. Nail in the head. The script. That's Amsterdam. Good job, Zach. Okay. Gabby and Rachel have very distinct voices. So I think it's clear that was Rachel who was crying in that video. I feel like it shouldn't be too hard for us to decipher, but as we do know, producers are able to dub voices over one another, edit audio, the whole gambit. I mean, at this point, they have enough of Gabby and Rachel's voices that they probably could do some audio mixing and make somebody's voice sound like the other person's. So that will be an interesting thing that we'll have to dive into. As for if they found love or not, they seem very happy in the press tours that they're doing, all of these interviews. So I have a good feeling that they're finding love. And even if they don't, they've obviously found love in their friendship. So either way, they're leaving a winner.
Yeah, we were talking about yesterday, Gianna, there is some theories with pretty solid, facts that they could have found love with each other, because they said that they put their friendship above everything else, and they're clearly hugging so closely here. So it is possible that they fall in love with each other. We really don't know what's going to happen at the end.
I don't know if somebody would call those solid facts.
Something.
There's some proof that they are putting each other. There's a fact that they're putting each other first. That's a fact.
You're right.
They said that. So they could fall in love with each other. I love
that.
I'm here for it. It's the biggest twist ever. Well, July 11th is the premiere, and we want to hear from you guys what you are most excited to see this season. Do you think Gabby and Rachel will get engaged? Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell before you guys head out of here. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, with Gianna Gravelese and Blakely McHugh. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so be sure to give us a follow. Come say hello. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.